right, today we're diving into one of the most researched and effective supplements out there, creatine. If you've been in fitness for a while, you've probably heard about it, maybe even taken it, or maybe avoided it because of all the myths that you hear, like it makes you bloated or it's just for bodybuilders. But the truth is, creatine is one of the safest, most effective, and affordable supplements on the planet. And it's not just for athletes, it has benefits for everyday people for muscle, strength, recovery, energy, and brain health. So it is for everyone. And today we were breaking down creatine, what it actually does, who should take it, what are the benefits, how to use it properly, and kind of go over some of the common myths that keep people away from taking it. And before we do that, I want to do another client spotlight for our guy, Andy. Andy, you are the freaking man. And your progress I feel like we've seen so much incredible progress, especially in the mindset and self-awareness and emotional resilience over the last few months. Andy has just developed such a healthy relationship with training and nutrition and has been showing up so consistently, even despite all the crazy stressors in his life, all unknowns, holidays, everything, higher stress levels. And he's adapted so well to the structured macros, the phased training, and daily movement. And we've seen just so much improvement with his energy and recovery and sleep quality and weight trends. And yeah, he's just been a freaking rock star. He just communicates so openly, applies feedback so well, and just, again, so consistent with our team motto of progress over perfection. So yeah, he's awesome. He's been building such an amazing foundation with consistency and accountability and just that mental resilience. So really excited as we continue to go into this new year and just see the continued changes with his body composition, his performance, and everything else.
Yeah, I love, first of all, Andy, you're a rock star. That sounds amazing. You know, I feel like we get so stuck in a lane of nutrition and exercise and that's it. But I loved hearing things like his energy has improved, he has much better relationships with food and training and mental resilience. There's just so much more involved. And it sounds like he's really just like crushing the big picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it translates over into every area of your life. And I feel like we've seen that.
Yeah, that's awesome, Andy.
Yep, we love you, Andy. You're the man. Keep crushing it. And then, is there anything else going on in your world? Any other updates before we get into the creatine topic?
No, well, I will say actually, right before I got on here, I was just wasting time on my phone for a second. And all of a sudden, almost the exact same picture popped up. Obviously, a lot of my like Instagram feed is health accounts and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I started seeing the same picture over and over and over getting posted. And apparently the new food pyramid was released. I'm guessing today, since they all just started posting this, and very interesting. So if you guys are familiar with the old food pyramid, it was really heavy on grains and things like that. And then protein was kind of like an afterthought. It was like way up top. Like, yeah, you probably should have a little bit of meat. You don't really eat eggs or anything like that. Stay away from the fats. And so it's almost, I wouldn't say 100% reversed, but it's almost flipped upside down. And the picture is actually upside down now, right? You have the inverse pyramid, is that what you say? The pyramid's facing down. And so up top you have proteins, right? Like get your protein in. And so it looks really good. I mean, just a couple of notes I was looking at. Protein is prioritized, healthy fats are back. So things like eggs, seafood, full fat dairy, nuts, seeds, avocados. They basically call out ultra processed foods and sugars, say, hey, those need to be eliminated as much as possible. Fruits and vegetables still remain essential, which they should be. And then the whole grains is, you know, kind of like, hey, that's what it should be if you're going to have any kind of carbs, not refined carbs. And even then, it's still like 2 to 4 servings. So as always, you just kind of look at that as a general model, but much improved from the old days, old school pyramid that we were taught when we were kids in school.
Oh yeah, I feel like the food pyramid and just the standard of nutrition advice when it comes to the government in the US is just absolute garbage. So I'm very impressed to see this new one. I'm very excited about that because like we were just looking at briefly, I didn't even hear about it until you brought it up. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty spot on. Like I agree with pretty much everything on there just from first glance. So super cool to see, and hopefully that changes the narrative and how people approach nutrition and just like start moving things in the right direction. We can hope.
Yeah, there's all that information's out there, especially nowadays with all this technology. There's so much information. If you really want to get on it, you can get all kinds of different viewpoints and things like that. And a lot of people get confused. They're like, okay, well, this person's saying this thing, and this person's saying this thing. Who do I believe? Typically, the well-respected experts usually have a pretty similar idea on things. But then, even then, I feel like people don't really grab onto an idea until like the world says, okay, this is what we're doing. And so even though nothing's perfect and everyone, you need to adapt it to your own personal lifestyle and things like that, this is a pretty solid sequel.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fired up to see that. And yeah, I feel like it's probably gonna be blown up online over the next few days too. I'm like, I feel like I got to get on that train and start sharing it and talking about it too.
Yeah, you do. Get on there and put your own 2 cents in there. It'd be fun for everyone just to kind of create their own food pyramid. One like a serious one, and then one kind of like a fun one, like whatever you want.
That would be fun actually.
We were talking about fractions in class today, and so of course I was telling my kids because food is like the best thing to use to relate to these kids with fractions. And so we talk about like brownies, we talk about like chocolate bars. They're just so easy to talk about breaking in parts.
Yeah.
And pizza pies. Those are really common. And so of course I told my pizza story. They love it. And even if I've told the story before, I'm like, have I told this story? Most of them are like, no, you haven't. And so I have to retell it, and they're like, yes, waste of time. But no, they do love the story. So I told them, I was like, all right, guys. Basically, the takeaway here is I love pizza, and don't ever let me order because I'll order way too much.
So is pizza the top of your food pyramid?
Well, that's what I was thinking. If serious one, no, not at all. But for fun, calories don't matter at all. It's definitely in there, along with burgers would be up there. So,
Maybe the
that would be
chicken
kind of.
crust one is at the top.
Oh, I love that thing. I need to actually. I'm glad you mentioned that. I need to make it again. Speaking of things that I've made that I've really enjoyed, I love my protein coffee, and I grabbed Starbucks, and they have those protein drinks. Have you heard about those?
No.
So they have some higher protein drinks now. And
Oh.
I really haven't looked. Haven't been in a Starbucks forever, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna grab something, and I was like, well, let me see what kind of options they have. Usually get like a mocha, which is tons of sugar. I just didn't want tons of sugar, and so I was like, oh, they have those protein drinks. Let me look into that, and they have a sugar-free caramel option. So it's like sugar-free caramel protein latte. That's what it's called. And I looked at the macros, and it's actually not bad. It was like ish, depending how they make it, like 250 calories, almost 30 grams of protein. And it was like under 20 grams of sugar. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I usually like more of a chocolatey taste when I go to a coffee shop, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty good. The protein content, obviously, for a coffee out is amazing. It didn't nearly taste as good as my own,
Of course. Of
and I had
course.
more protein in it. And you could tell that it was a sugar-free caramel because it kind of had a little bit of an aftertaste to it. But all in all, not a bad option if you're out, you want some protein, or if you're just craving a coffee, or you have to grab something, and you're at Starbucks. You're like, well, I need to grab something. What should I get? Not a bad option.
Dang, that's crazy that they took your protein coffee idea.
I know. See, I know. We always joke about how our phones can hear us, and all of a sudden we get all these ads. I'm telling you, I think they also sell it to all these advertisers and companies, and somewhere, sometime, someone heard about my caramel. What is it? Caramel, coconut, chocolate chip cookie. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
always mess it up. Fudge, coconut, caramel, coconut, fudge, cookie. There we go.
Yeah.
Protein powder coffee.
No, but that's cool that they have that at Starbucks. I feel like so many places are like everything is high protein now. Like that's the trend, which is awesome to see. Like everywhere is adapting to that. Everyone like I think oh dude, I saw the other day. I'm pretty sure Chipotle is like coming out with high protein options soon. Like I feel like
Yes.
they're already high protein, but like I feel like they have more options for that now.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get a protein cup. Basically, it's a cup
Mhm.
of chicken, and it's like 30 grams of protein, and I want to say it's like $4.
Yeah, that's crazy. That I mean that's cool that everyone's moving
Yeah.
in this direction.
I was actually thinking the same thing. I was like, man, everyone's now. That's the cool thing. There's a lot of like Chipotle rolled out a whole like you said, a protein menu, high protein menu, which is awesome. And I think other companies, I'm sure, are going to be doing that. And maybe they have high protein options already, and they're just going to kind of promote it more. I think just what you have to be careful is now everyone puts high protein on their labels. Like I love pistachios, but I saw like a display for it, and it was like high in protein. I was like, well, no, actually not. It was promoting like 10 grams of protein, which is not a lot of protein. So I do love pistachios, and they're a great option, a great fat, but not a good protein option. So we have to be careful because everyone's going to promote that.
I feel like that's been a thing though, like since marketing came out, it's like people will say high protein, but like you've got to actually check the macros and see the percentages. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a lot more prevalent now that it's becoming a trend. So good points. Like everyone be on the lookout. Just because they say it's high protein, you got to double check.
Yeah, run it by us first, and then go have fun.
That's cool though.
Yeah. What about yourself? Anything else going on?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Anything you'd like to share? Let me rephrase that.
Well, no, yeah, one of the things you know about, but I'm gonna keep that private for now until I come to a decision. But there's a big opportunity that got presented to me, so I feel very blessed and grateful, and just sorting out what the right path is for me this year. So I'll keep everyone in the loop as I make decisions there. But yeah, navigating that, lots of changes in the business, which is cool and exciting, and yet still just really trying to stick to my intentions for this year. And especially this week, I'm like, yo, I just need to stop taking shit so seriously. Like life, like it is not that serious. I don't need to stress this much. So I've been trying to be better, just releasing control and surrendering. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job at that, being able to get some sun this week. So I'm feeling pretty good overall.
Well, good. I always think sunshine helps, right? We've talked about this before. I was actually, this is kind of funny. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but it just popped in my head. I was speaking to another member at the gym this afternoon, and he's much older than I am. If I had to guess, 70s, maybe 80s, something like that. But he's there for 4 times a week, every week, and he's in there. And we were talking about Christmas break and things like that, and he hadn't seen me in a few weeks because I work out in the mornings. And so he's like, yeah, I hadn't seen you. And I was like, well, you work out in the mornings. He's like, oh yeah. He goes, I figured something was going on because I know I'd see you in here. And I was like, yeah, if I'm not at the gym, then you guys need to call and see if I'm okay. Or I might have died because I'm going to be at the gym all the time. And I said, that and sunshine. I need my sunshine. I need my gym. And he was like, oh yeah. He goes, I feel the same way. He goes, it just doesn't feel like natural or the same if I'm not getting my workouts in, And I thought that was so cool because he's, just a different place in life, but he recognizes that, hey, like this is such a great place to be, and it's such a great experience, and I get so much benefit out of coming every day. And even the limited ability that he can do, still he comes and he shows up, and he just feels like this is my place, like I need to be here. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's what we aspire to be like.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think it's always so cool having those homies too that like as soon as you're not there one day, they're like, yo, like where are you good? Like what's going on?
Yeah, they check on. Yeah, it is cool. I mean, you want to check on those people, and they check on you, and yeah, it's a great environment. It's almost like a little healthier version of Cheers, right? Where everyone knows your name, type of thing.
Yeah, I remember back when I lived in Arizona, like I was like, because now I feel like I go at different times now that I have a little bit more freedom with my schedule, but like I was very religiously at the same time every day, no matter what. So it's like there was one day where like I went in later, skipped or something, and like literally like 4 people texted me. They're like, "Yo, where are you at? What's good?"
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. And you feel good too. People, care about you, and they're like, seriously, like we see her every day. Why is she not here? Something's going on.
Yeah. Oh, and then aside from that, I actually wanted to share, like I had my birthday last weekend, and this is the first time I celebrated ever, and it was freaking amazing. I'm so fired up about it still.
That's awesome. Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah, I don't like care about like I don't like the attention or anything like that, but I feel like this is the first time I had like I finally built community, like I finally have friends in a circle, and so it was really cool just to get everyone together. And my friends just went above and beyond. They made me feel so like loved and celebrated. It was like the sweetest thing ever. I couldn't get over it, but it was just a fun day. We like got together at the beach, played volleyball. Though the weather was ass, so it started raining like partway through, which was unfortunate. But it was just a really fun time, and the first time that I've tried to break the cycle of hating my birthday. So I'm happy with myself for that, and just really grateful for my friends and everyone that made it really special.
It was a success. You broke the cycle, right?
Yep. Yep.
Start a new cycle this next birthday, right? You love
Exactly.
it. Before you know it, in a couple of years, you're probably gonna be like one of those, hey, this is my birthday week, this is my birthday month, right?
Dude, I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but my friend was telling me, she said her mom is like that, but she throws the craziest parties for her birthday. Like she's flying like hundreds of people out from around the US and around the world to come to her party, and she has like a party planner. So they rented a whole venue, a DJ, it's like this huge thing. I was like, "Holy shit, that is I mean, I respect it honestly. That's crazy."
That is pretty crazy. I think sometimes like we had like endless resources, maybe we would change I'm not a big birthday guy either, but maybe if I could fly out hundreds of people and just have a big party and like do whatever, I might just for fun. I don't know.
That's true. But I'm like, also, how do you know that many people that want to like come fly out for your birthday? That's crazy.
Well, and she may very well have, but I'm pretty sure I could walk down the street and see it, tell some random person, "Hey, I'll fly you out here, expenses paid. Come to my birthday." He's like, "I'm your friend, buddy. Let's do this."
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe one day we'll get to that level.
There you go. One day we'll put that on our board, right?
Shall we
All
get
right.
into some creatine?
Yeah, let's talk about creatine. So we've talked about it before now. You take creatine, and how long have you been taking it for?
That's a great question. It's been years for sure. I don't remember exactly, maybe like 2, 3 years. But I know you're like the original starter of creatine.
I really feel like I'm one of the. I think they tested it on me, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And I can't remember exactly what year, but I was in high school, and I remember reading an article in Muscle and Fitness, and they're touting this new supplement that was well, it was going to become very popular. That's how they're promoting it, and that you could gain muscle very easily, 5 to 10 pounds of muscle pretty quickly. And I was like, I'm in, sign me up, let's do this. And to be honest with you, I did not do much research. Basically, Muscle and Fitness said I should try it, so I bought some. And I don't remember the exact conversation, but I remember my mom being very hesitant about, like, do you know anything about this? I was like, well, Muscle and Fitness said it's really good. And she was like, but yes, but is there any research on it? I was like, well, there's a lot of like short-term research. They said it's all good. And she's like, what about long-term? I was like, it hasn't been around that long. They don't know, like you have to just kind of go for it. And she was not very happy about it. She, didn't tell me I had to not take it or anything like that. But she's like, well, it's your body. I mean, we'll find out the consequences if this thing, but yeah, I mean, it ended up being one of the most researched, but one of the most effective supplements. So I guess maybe I got a little bit lucky on that. But yeah, so I've been taking it for years, 20 plus years type of thing. And I've tried it in different forms, and I'm back to kind of the original powder. And we'll talk about all this too. I'll have gummies on vacation, but in general, it's a great supplement. So let's talk about it. So what really is creatine? Because like you said, most people have probably heard about it, even if they've never taken it, whether they've heard good things or bad things. That, if I said, hey, creatine is, they were like, well, I've heard some people talk about it. So it's basically a supplement that plays a crucial role in energy production, and particularly in our muscle tissues. And so it's synthesized in the body from amino acids, and it's found, you can actually find it in foods like red meats and fish, but it's such small amounts, like you'd have to eat an unreal amount of that, and it just wouldn't be worth it, right? So it's basically, its main job is to produce energy during high intensity exercise, in particular resistance training. So it basically replenishes your ATP, which is kind of like your body's like quick energy source. And so that relates to more strength, more power, more performance, and of course you can imagine bigger muscles, right?
Main reason you started it in the first
That's
place.
why I started. I wanted to become a beast.
Right, they said muscles, you're like, all right, sign me up, we're in.
5 to 10 pounds. I like the sound of that. Let's do this.
Yeah, and I think one thing to note too is it's not a steroid for some reason. Well, again, we'll get into some of the myths and misconceptions, but it's not a hormone, not steroids. It's literally just helping your body do what it already does, but more efficiently. And like you said, yeah, we find it in foods like red meat and fish, but a lot of people are just like, oh, like what, you don't need supplements, like you can just eat refills. Like you're not gonna be able to eat enough to get the amount of creatine that you need out of that. So that's why supplementation is so key.
I wonder if that was kind of my mom's concern. Like, what, are you taking steroids now, or,
Yeah.
or something weird like that?
Everyone sees it as that for some reason. And people are like, oh yeah, start taking creatine, gonna blow up. Like it's some crazy thing. I'm like, it's not that serious.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not. I mean, you're not going to all of a sudden compete in bodybuilder competitions when you just start taking it. But it is very beneficial. It's very helpful, and it can increase muscular size in the beginning too. So we'll talk about that.
Have you noticed any differences? I mean, obviously you've been taking it for so long now. You probably don't notice much now, but like, did you ever notice differences, or do you remember noticing anything, or have you gone through cycles where you get off of it and then back on?
I did. So initially, I did it, and back when I first started taking it, there was like a loading phase. They're like, you have to load it first, and then you can just take the 5 grams that we recommend. And I did. I gained probably at least 5 to 6 pounds of muscle, and I could feel fuller, and I looked fuller. And after that, I don't think any muscle gain was I could relate it to that, but I will tell you I've been pretty consistent the majority of the time since I started, but there was a time where I got off a little bit and I did get a little bit smaller. And I could tell I did lose a little bit of muscle. And once I got back on it, I gained that part, those 5 pounds right back. So yeah, so I could definitely tell a difference there for sure.
Okay. Yeah, for me, like I don't know if I ever paid attention to it once I started. Like I don't think I've ever noticed a major difference, but again, like I haven't really been paying attention to that. So like I only say that as like you said, you're not gonna blow up. It's not like some steroids. Like it's just very subtle differences, or like in your case, it may be a little bit more. Like you may be able to notice a little bit, but it's nothing crazy.
Well, and if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, this is just a supplement for muscle gain, I'm okay, or I'm not really interested in that as much, I'm going to hop off this. They've done it, like we said, it's one of the most researched supplements, and they've found so many more benefits that yes, everyone should be building some muscle, right? Even if you don't want to be huge, but there's actually a lot of other benefits. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious one is the strength of muscle. With more creatine stored in your muscles, you can push harder, you can get more reps, recover faster, and then over time, that's going to add up to more muscle growth, better body composition. But yeah, I think a lot of the benefits come from the stuff outside of that too. Do you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so especially recently, last 5, 10 years, they've found that it improves recovery between sets and between workouts. It reduces fatigue, helps with endurance and high intensity efforts, which is kind of what we talked about. But here's one that I think is really cool, and this is why I think they're going to start recommending that the elderly take it. It supports brain health and it supports memory, especially in older adults. It helps with mood and cognitive performance, especially under stress. And it might even improve like bone density and support healthy aging. So while like a lot of people, and I think it was targeted and marketed in the beginning to be like a gym bro, like type of supplement, it's actually valuable just for anyone, really. And especially if you just want to keep your body and your brain like sharp long term. So if you're just like, oh, I just want to like live a long, healthy life, I don't care about getting big, like creatine is definitely something you might want to consider. And so I really do feel like, with very soon, maybe next 5, 10 years, it's going to be recommended to everyone.
Yeah, for sure. And even women too. I think a lot of women are hesitant to take it, but the benefits are just as strong, if not stronger, especially because women tend to start with lower creatine stores. So it's one of the most overlooked tools for women to support strength, energy, and healthy aging.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like women, it's not a male. A lot of times, I think in the fitness industry, we started kind of separating, men and women. Like these are the men workout, male work. These are the female workouts. This is the men's gym, women's gym, equipment, stuff like that. And obviously, as we know more, learn more, we're like, oh, you know what? Like, I mean, yes, women and men are very different in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of things very similar. And the same type of workouts, same type of supplements. So yes, women can definitely benefit as well.
And I will say, I feel like I've seen a lot of companies market like creatine for women. I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, it's just it's creatine. Like, everyone takes the same creatine. Like, you don't need one for women's. Like, it's just the marketing. So don't get fooled by that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, if you want to take creatine, we'll tell you some good sources, but don't
Yeah.
take it. If you're a woman, don't take the one that says for women only. You're just paying extra for what they want to throw out there. So,
Yeah.
okay, so let's say you're like, all right, I'm in, or maybe you just start taking. You're like, I'm really not sure how much to take. So the recommendation, and most people will benefit from taking 3 to 5 grams daily. I think if you look at most containers, it'll say take 5 grams daily, and it's basically that dosage is sufficient enough to enhance performance and cognitive benefits that we've talked about. The more studying they do, they've actually suggested that maybe like 10 grams a day, maybe even up to 20 grams a day may offer some additional cognitive benefits. And so like I have been upping my doses lately, and not all at once. And that's kind of a side thing we'll talk about. It can cause some digestive issues. And so even if you're like, you take 5 grams, like, ooh, that kind of messes with my stomach, you can divide that up. You can take it like 5 times throughout the day, like 1 gram, that usually be okay, however you want to do it. Doesn't have to be taken all at once. But I'll take 3, 4, 5 gram increments type of thing. And I've taken about 10, 15 or so, and just to try it out. And so I think, yeah, but like I said, they just keep coming up with more research, and it's just such a phenomenal supplement. But yeah, so right now, if you're just starting out, I would start out with 5 grams. And if you've been taking it for a while, you might want to bump it up, try to take 10 grams and see if you notice any difference.
Yeah, 5 grams a day every day is the standard. And yeah, I haven't experimented with doing more, but like, yeah, that's what I always recommend to do is like start with 5, get consistent with that. If you want to experiment with more, just like see if you notice a difference. Some people don't, and they're like, I'd rather just, stick with a 5, totally fine. So it's one of the things you can play around with. And I will say the timing doesn't matter much either. I think the most crucial factor is taking it consistently. Again, every day, doesn't matter if you train or not. If you find a time that fits your routine, stick to it, whether that's like adding in it to your coffee in the morning, if you have like a shake or something that you mix together, or if you take the gummies, which we'll get into as well. But it's like whatever time of the day, just take it when you're going to remember it. And consistency is the biggest piece there. I think there's some studies too that suggest taking creatine post workout might enhance its uptake in the muscles due to the increased receptivity and like following exercise. But this is generally more like that could be the optimal time. But again, like if it's more convenient for you to take it in the morning or another time, that can also work. Key is just consistency. Whenever you can remember, do it. Whatever allows you to be consistent is going to be perfect.
Yeah, you're right. Consistency is the key, and that is with any supplement or anything that you need to take. You find a time of day that you're not going to forget. That you just make it a habit that, hey, I'm going to take it at this time. But if you do have the flexibility and the freedom to do whatever whenever you want, like you said, I think post workout is probably like the best. But is it that much of a difference? Probably not, to rearrange your life around or anything like that. So like I said, consistency, just as long as you take it every single day. And I will say that though, I'm not sure how effective it's going to be if you take it every now and then. If you just randomly take it, maybe like, oh, I took some this week. This week I forgot. I don't know how effective that's going to be. You do need to be consistent with these type of things for most time. Miss a day or two, not a big deal. You don't take it on vacation, that's fine. But for the most part, most of the time you take it.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think want to go over some of the common myths too, because there's a lot of them out there. I don't know if we'll touch on all of them, but I know one that I've heard is that it makes you bloated, which isn't necessarily true. Like I haven't had all the people that I've worked with myself, like I've never heard of anyone having issues with that. And I think a lot of people are worried about more so like the water retention with that. Like, yes, you hold on to more water, but the water is getting pulled into your muscles, not under your skin. So you'll look fuller, not puffier. So it's like the good type of water retention that we want, not the one that makes you feel inflamed or bloated or uncomfortable.
Yeah, it will pull water into your muscle. But like you said, like that's gonna be a good thing. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like look at my chest muscles looking pretty good, or my biceps, whatever it may be. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Another one is it's bad for your kidneys, which is also false. For healthy people, creatine, again, like you said, it's one of the most tested, well-studied supplements out there. It's completely safe. The only exception is if you already have like a kidney disease, then of course you want to talk to your doctor first. But generally, it's safe for everyone.
Yeah, and if you're not sure, you can always ask your doctor about this. He'll know your history and tell you, hey, you know what, maybe not. We're not quite sure, but most of the time, if you don't have any underlying issues, this can be completely safe. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it is actually one of the most studied supplements available. So there's just thousands of studies, and they just keep coming out. Like I keep hearing more and more studies, like we talked about, where it comes with brain and cognitive development, and so I think they're just trying like, hey, it worked here, let's try it in this study and see what happens here. So it's yeah, and they're all confirming its safety and effectiveness. Mm-hmm. All right, so another myth, and this is that it's only, and we kind of touched on this, but it's only for men or it's only for bodybuilders. It's only if you just wanted to get absolutely jacked type of thing. And but like you said, women benefit just as much. Older adults benefit, even endurance athletes. Sometimes we'll stay away from it, but it actually can benefit them as well. So basically, anyone that wants more strength, energy, or resilience in any possible form can definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah. Are there any other myths that come to mind for you? Because I feel like there's so many out there. People always make excuses for it. Are there any that come top of mind to you?
No, I mean, those are the ones that kind of that I usually think about if you're talking to something. And I think a lot of it really just comes down, it's not really a myth, but lack of knowledge. People aren't quite sure what it is. They don't know what it's going to be, especially when I first started taking it. And I get that there's only short-term studies. And so they're like, yeah, short-term is pretty safe, but long-term, 10 years from now, we have no idea what's going to happen. But now they have all the long-term studies too. So short-term, long-term, everything has been shown that it's very safe, very effective. So yeah, I mean, I think now it's just like, if you don't want to take it, that's fine. But there's not going to be really any solid evidence that it's not going to be effective. Mm-hmm. All right. And then our next topic or section is who should take it. And we kind of covered this already. Basically, honestly, everyone. And like I said, if you lift weights, you play sports, If you just want to hold on to muscle strength as you age, if you just want to live longer and have a healthier, happier life, I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Go ahead and get on some creatine.
Yeah. Take yo creatine, people. It is for everyone. Like again, like we aren't super big on supplements or anything, but like this is one that we have all our clients take. This is one that we take. So it's like it's one of those standards that everyone should be taking. And again, it's not magic either. When you stack it with the good training, with nutrition, recovery, it's one of the few supplements that does consistently deliver, especially just for the cost, the safety, and the benefits. It's really hard to beat.
Now, I will say, and we've talked about this before, if you're just starting your health journey, then the first thing you should be thinking about is not, or you shouldn't be thinking about supplements as the first thing to do, right? So we want to lock in our nutrition, we want to lock in our consistent habits, we want to make sure sleep is going well, and stress, and then we can worry about supplements. Then that's where we say, okay, well, I'm really in a good routine now, I'm very consistent, now let's kind of start taking the next level. Then you start taking the creatine. Not that it's going to, obviously, it's still going to be very beneficial, but we want the focus to be on being consistent with those things first, and then start thinking about supplements.
Exactly. Yeah. Basics comes first. We don't want to go immediately supplements thinking they're going to fix everything. So yeah, get the foundation in order. And then of course, things like creatine can help.
Yeah.
And then where do we get creatine? How to find a good one? Like we were talking about the marketing and all that. Generally, you want to just look for creatine monohydrate. That's going to be the gold standard due to the extensive research backing its effectiveness. But there's lots of other forms that you can take it. I mean, you want the base to be creatine monohydrate, but it's like there's different ways to take it. It's like we take gummies a lot. I love the gummies for me, especially because right now it's easy for me to take the powder because I have like a certain shake, a little concoction that I make every morning. But before that, it's like I never really had like a drink to add it in because I don't drink coffee or anything like that. So I was just not consistent with taking the powder. Just like it's unflavored, but it's just like it's not as enjoyable. I don't know. Like I just get weird about supplements sometimes. So I love the gummies because they allow me to be so consistent. They taste delicious. So that's something that I love, and especially like you said, when you're traveling, it's so easy to be able to take that as opposed to like a mysterious white powder through TSA, and they're like, "What the hell is this?"
Which I've done, and I have been pulled aside, and they have had to scan it and check it to make sure that it's not other kind of white powder.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of proud. I'm like, yeah, that's my creatine.
I love it. So yeah, I mean, the powder is like the most standard form. Again, it's just an unflavored powder. You can mix it with stuff. There's also like flavored versions. Like the brand we recommend is Legion. I work with them. If you guys use the code Mackenzie S, it'll save you money on any Legion product. And this is the brand that we work with. They're like the best of the best in the business. But they have like a regular powder. They have a flavored powder too, which I'll link. So that way, like if you want something that's flavored and enjoyable to like sip while you're working out or whatever, you can do that. Or the gummies. So lots of different variations for whatever is going to work best for you. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's just what's going to allow you to be most consistent with taking it. That's always what I ask.
Yeah, and I've tried all three of the Legions version of those, and they're fantastic. I tend to just stick with the unflavored just because I can mix it in anything. And I'll mix it a lot in my like creamy, or I'll mix it in my shakes. And sometimes, I mean, I'll just drink it by itself. It doesn't taste that great if you just by yourself, but if you need to, you can do that. But it goes down very easily. And like you said, again, it just comes back to how consistent you want to be, and you want to be as consistent as possible. So if you know that you're going to probably not eat anything except for maybe gummies, then you probably need to get the gummies. But of course, there's a cost difference. The unflavored is going to be the best value, and it's actually very reasonably priced. Every brand's going to be a little bit different, but it's not very expensive. So if you're like, well, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on supplements, well, this is probably one of the best valued supplements there are. And the gummies are a little more expensive, but like I said, if you are someone who's probably not going to drink the powder, but you want something that tastes, because actually they have some really good gummies. I took some to school, and I kind of lost track probably how much creatine I was taking each day, because every like time I'd get bored, I'd run over there and I'd just like pop a couple and be like, those are good. I'd take a couple more. And so, I mean, there's probably a few days where I was taking 20, 30 grams of vodka just because it tasted so good. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost out. I just got this thing. So you do have to be careful about that in terms of, if you want to save a little money, but it did taste very good. But yeah, the bottom line is make sure it's creatine monohydrate, whatever brand you go with.
What flavor of the gummies do you like most? Have you tried various ones? Because they have a bunch more now. Like I keep looking, they keep coming out with new flavors.
Oh yeah, and they keep coming out. And I'm starting to lose track of which ones I like best. They come out with these sour versions, right? So I think maybe the sour watermelon
Mm.
was one of my favorites. But yeah, they have some really good ones. They taste really good, man. So if you're concerned about taste, go with the gummies. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I think I tried the pink lemonade one most, like that one's so good. I love that. I
That
haven't,
is a good one.
yeah, I haven't tried any of the sour ones. I think those are newer. But then they also have they have a strawberry lemonade, I think a strawberry kiwi of the flavored powder, which is really good too. Like both of those are so delicious. So yeah, lots of good options.
A lot of good options. So yeah, make sure it's creatine monohydrate, and you can pretty much find it anywhere. But yeah, go on if you want to make sure it's safe and high quality product, go to Legion and
Yeah.
use Mackenzie's code.
Yep, I'll put those links in the description too if anyone wants to go and snag them. But yeah, I mean that's about it. Creatine, safe, simple, effective, and again, it's backed by a lot of research. So if you've been on the fence, this is your sign to start Yo Creatine. And again, I'll link those options in the show notes for everyone if you want to try them out. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.